Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with Be Creative, and today I'm going to be creative with this ornament. So this morning, one of the dance groups that I dance with performed at a luncheon at the senior center, and all of us were given these little ornaments. And was sitting there, and one of them, the ladies said, "You know what? I bet you can make us a necklace out of these." And all of a sudden I had 9 little Christmas tree ornaments. And now I'm going to show you how I'm going to make a necklace for them. So here's what we're making today. I just crocheted a chain stitch out of this variegated yarn, reminds me of a candy cane. And then I took some 20 gauge gold wire and wired a crystal on the top there. I have about 200 chain stitches. Now I got to do all the rest of these. There's going to be 9 total. Now I know I crochet a little odd, but I have hand issues, so this is what works for me. Now I know several of you probably don't know how to do a chain stitch, so I will leave a link to a video that shows how to do that at the end of this video. And yay, I finally got all the crocheting done. Now I'm just taking the little gold hangers off of all these ornaments, and I'm just going to set them aside. They'll make good hangers for some other ornaments that I may make some other time. Actually, my guitar string Christmas ornaments, they would be perfect for. So I'm going to use a 20 gauge gold tone wire and this bead. It's about a 6mm bead. And I'm just going to wire a large loop. I want the tree to dangle really well. If I was to make the loop small, that tree's not going to dangle. Now once I get the wire wrapped, there's going to be some poking out there. You want to make sure that you tuck that in, because if you don't, it could scratch, what you're wearing or your neck, and we don't want that. Once you think it's tucked in, just feel around, make sure you don't feel anything poking out. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other end. And this particular ornament, I didn't really make a big enough loop on this portion of it. You do want it to be a bigger loop, especially if you're using cording that's thicker. You want to make sure your cording fits into that loop. So now back to what we just crocheted. I'm going to take the 2 ends and I'm going to tie them together using an overhand knot. So if you're having issues getting those ends through the loop there, just use your crochet hook. Now before you tighten that knot, make sure you feed it up as close as you can to the end of the crochet area there. It just makes it look a lot better. Now we're going to tie the ornament onto the crocheted necklace part. Like I said, I made this loop a little small, so I had issues trying to get that through. You can cut your cording at an angle to make it a little bit more pointier. I finally got it through, but the rest of those Christmas trees, I made sure my loop was bigger. Yes, the struggle was real. Once I finally got it through, I just tied a knot, and then I tied an overhand knot. The reason I do both kind of knots is I just want it to be secure, but I don't like the threads separated out. I want them together because we're going to trim them a little bit and make a little tassel. The tassel looks much better if those two pieces are together. Once I have the ornament secured, I'll trim that off a little bit, and then I'm just going to untwist the legs there a little bit. I can just use a pin, a needle, something sharp, but just separate them out and form a little tassel, and then just trim it off a little bit, and you are done with your necklace. I love the little tassels on these. I think it gives it a boho look, and I love boho. All right, I got 2 down. 7 to go. And there we go, we're all done. Woohoo! I'll admit, this was a lot of work. But you know what? If I'm sitting around watching TV, a movie or something, I like to do stuff like this. I can't just do one thing. I'm a multitasker all the time. What about you? Thanks for joining me. Y'all have a great day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, signing out for now. Bye-bye.